What if I told you that the single most powerful machine on this planet is sitting right between your ears? And what if I told you that almost nobody, not your parents, not your school, not your boss, ever taught you how to actually use it? Here is the brutal truth: you are not living your best life because nobody ever showed you the owner's manual for your own mind. Today, that changes. Stay with me for the next 25 minutes. Because what you are about to learn has the power to completely transform the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you live, starting today. Let me ask you something honest. Have you ever felt like you were meant for more? Like deep inside, there is a version of you that is stronger, calmer, more focused, and more successful, but you just cannot seem to reach that person? You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are not unlucky. You are simply unaware. The greatest investment you will ever make is not in a stock, not in real estate, not in a business. The greatest investment you will ever make is in understanding the power of your own mind. Only the person who truly understands this power can use it to achieve any meaningful goal. But the person who never discovers this power is forced to live a busy, exhausting, and ultimately empty life. Running fast, but going nowhere. Because there are endless opportunities for you to learn and grow, you can transform your life by learning exciting and empowering skills. With a positive, aware mindset, you can do almost anything. But first, you need to understand 5 powerful ideas about how the human mind really works. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you will never look at your own thinking the same way again. Let's go! Think about a falcon for a moment. A falcon is built for one thing: to soar high above the earth, to see everything clearly from above, and to move with speed, precision, and effortless power. It is one of the fastest creatures alive. Now imagine chaining that falcon to the ground. Imagine making it walk through mud, pulling a cart, dragging weight, just because nobody taught it that it had wings. That is exactly what most of us do with our minds every single day. Your mind, like the falcon, was created for high and effortless thinking. It was designed to rise above problems, to see the big picture, to find elegant solutions. But instead, we drag it through endless worries, meaningless distractions, petty arguments, and useless mental noise. Do not let your mind get entangled in unwanted problems. Every minute you spend worrying about things you cannot control is a minute you are keeping your falcon chained to the mud. Here is a relatable example. Imagine you are driving to work in the morning. You hit a red light, and you immediately start getting frustrated. You start thinking about all the things that could go wrong today. You replay yesterday's argument. You spiral into fear about the future. By the time you get to work, you are already mentally exhausted, and your day has barely started. That is your falcon walking. That is your mind dragging through mud. What would happen if instead, at that red light, you took 3 deep breaths and asked yourself one simple question: what is the most important thing I can focus on right now? That single shift, from reactive thinking to intentional awareness, is the difference between a life that feels like a grind and a life that feels like flying. The key insight here is powerful. Failing to understand something does not mean you are a failure. It simply means you have not yet discovered your wings. And without inner change, without first transforming how you think, no amount of external effort will ever be enough. You cannot change your life from the outside. You can only change it from the inside, first. Hey, before we go any further, if this is making you think differently already, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button right now. We put out content every week that is designed to help you unlock the best version of yourself. Don't miss it. Now, let's keep going, because the next idea is one that very few people ever figure out. I want to tell you a story. Not about a famous person. Not about a celebrity. I want to tell you a story about you. About every single one of us. Imagine this. One day, completely out of nowhere, you are given a gift. Not a small gift, the greatest gift imaginable. You are handed the keys to a state-of-the-art private airplane. A magnificent machine, capable of flying you anywhere in the world. Paris. Tokyo. The mountains of Nepal. The beaches of Maldives. Anywhere your heart desires. the plane is sitting right there on the runway. Gleaming. Powerful. Ready. But here is the problem. No one gave you instructions. No one told you what this machine can actually do. You have never seen an airplane up close before. You do not know about engines. You do not know about wings. You do not know about altitude. All you know is, this thing must be useful for something. It is big. It has wheels. And you have a destination you want to reach. So what do? You tie it to the back of your horse. That is right. You hitch this magnificent flying machine to your horse, sit inside the cockpit, and let the animal drag you down the road. You are moving. You are going somewhere. But you are using a supersonic airplane at the speed of a horse on a dirt road. After some time, you discover something new. You notice there are levers inside. Buttons. An engine. With a little effort, you figure out that the plane can actually move on its own, without the horse. So you disconnect the horse, start the engine, and begin rolling down the road under your own power. Better. Much better. But still, you are just driving. On the ground. You are still not flying. Then one day, one incredible day, you look up. You notice the wings. You notice that they are not just decoration. They have a purpose. You feel something stir inside you. A wild, terrifying, thrilling thought forms. What if this thing is meant to go up? Your hands shake as you push the throttle forward. The engine roars. Speed builds. And then, the ground disappears beneath you. You are flying. The world below looks completely different from up here. Everything that seemed so massive and overwhelming on the ground, the traffic, the noise, the problems, all of it looks tiny and manageable from above. This is the story of the human mind. The capabilities and powers of your mind are strong, but due to lack of awareness, they sit unused. You were born with a machine capable of infinite flight. But most people spend their entire lives dragging it behind a horse, wondering why the journey is so slow and so hard. The moment you begin learning, truly learning, about the power within you, everything changes. Your negative thoughts stop being enemies and start becoming fuel. Your fears stop being walls and start becoming doorways. Open awareness is the guarantee of high flying. The question is simple: are you ready to cut the rope? Are you ready to fly? Here is something that might surprise you. Have you ever wished your mind would just stop? Have you ever been so tired that you desperately wanted to shut off all the thoughts? The constant chatter. The endless loop of worries, regrets, plans, fears, memories, just going round and round? That exhausting spiral after a long day, taking you nowhere, is one of the most common human experiences in the modern world. And here is why it happens. You have been taught, your whole life, to think. To analyze. To figure things out. To problem solve. And thinking is important, don't misunderstand me. Thinking helps you navigate the practical mechanics of life, just like food and shelter help you survive. But thinking is your secondary power. There is something higher. Something far more powerful. And almost nobody talks about it. That power is called awareness. Now, what is the difference between thinking and awareness? This is one of the most important distinctions you will ever learn. So pay close attention. Thinking is essentially your memory in motion. When you think, you are replaying the past, your past experiences, your borrowed opinions, your old fears, your inherited beliefs. If your mind is filled with the belief that life is unfair or I am not good enough, then every situation you walk into, you carry that filter. And as a result, you see confirmation of that belief everywhere. Thinking is a place of repetition. Like a newspaper printing press running the same headline over and over, your mind keeps repeating the same story. And just like an old newspaper, it is not always giving you fresh, accurate information. Our thinking is often the product of our early years. The people who shaped us, parents, teachers, friends, gave us their stories. Stories about struggle, about disappointment, about what is possible and what is not. And many of us have accepted those stories as absolute truth. But they are not the truth. They are just someone else's opinion that got permanently downloaded into your mental software. Awareness is completely different. When you are aware, you are not running old programs. You are seeing what is actually there, fresh, clear, and real. When you are just thinking about something, you can be fooled by your own biases. But when you are truly aware, you cannot be tricked, because awareness is another name for complete, direct discovery of reality as it is. Here's your relatable example. Think about the last time you had a disagreement with someone you love, maybe your partner, your friend, or a coworker. In your head, you knew exactly what they meant. You knew their intentions. You were certain about how the conversation would go. You had already written the whole story before they even opened their mouth. That is thinking. And it pushed you further apart. But what if, just for one moment, you actually stopped thinking and simply listened? What if you set aside everything you assumed you knew and just stayed open, truly present, to what was actually being said? That is awareness. And it builds connection instead of walls. Thinking about a problem never solves it. It only deepens the rut. Awareness, real, open, present awareness, is what actually moves you forward. Let me tell you about a different kind of discovery. Imagine a person, let's call him David. David has always dreamed of visiting a place called Doop Valley. He has heard stories about it. Mysterious stories. Some people say it is breathtaking, waterfalls, ancient forests, air so clean it feels like medicine. Others say it is dangerous. Unpredictable trails. Sudden storms. A place that swallows people whole. David spends years thinking about Doop Valley. He reads every book he can find. He studies maps. He collects photographs. He lies awake at night imagining what the valley might look like, the colors of the trees, the sound of the water, the feel of the air. He builds a detailed picture in his mind. He also builds a detailed collection of fears. What if the trail is too steep? What if the weather turns? What if he gets lost? What if everything he imagines is completely wrong? He has been living with these questions for so long that they have become his companions. His thinking about Doop Valley has become richer, more elaborate, more consuming, and more paralyzing, with every passing year. Then one day, David's friend shows up at his door with 2 backpacks and says, "We leave tomorrow morning." No more planning. We go. David panics. He protests. He lists all the reasons it is not the right time. He is not ready. He has not read the last 3 chapters of that guidebook. He needs another month of preparation. His friend looks at him calmly and says one thing, "David, the map is not the territory. The thought of Doop Valley is not Doop Valley." They leave the next morning. And what David finds when he arrives at Doop Valley shatters every assumption he has ever made. The valley is not what he imagined, it is so much more. The colors are richer. The silence is deeper. The air does something to his chest he has no words for. But also, the trail is steep in places he didn't expect. There is a section that is genuinely challenging. 2 of his fears were true. But dozens were completely wrong. More importantly, the fears that were true, he handled them. Easily. In the moment, with the resources he actually had, not the imaginary resources he had been worrying about, he was more than capable. He stands at the peak of Doop Valley as the sun sets and realizes something that changes him permanently. He wasted years of his life thinking about this place instead of being in it. He traded years of actual living for years of mental simulation. And the simulation was inferior in every single way. This is what happens when thinking replaces awareness. When you think about your life, when you analyze it, worry about it, plan it obsessively, you are working from a map. And maps are always incomplete. They always leave things out. They are always somewhat wrong. But when you step into your life, when you show up fully present, aware, open, you discover something far richer than anything you could have imagined from a distance. Your job losses, your heartbreaks, your failures, your unexpected moments of grace, none of them look the way you imagine from far away. Up close, with full awareness, they always reveal something maps cannot show: your own resilience, your own depth, your own capacity to handle whatever comes. Stop thinking about your life. Start being I in your life. The valley is waiting. And it is more beautiful than you have ever dared to imagine. Okay, I want to pause here for a second. Because what I just shared, that story, I want to know which part hit you the hardest. Drop a comment below right now and tell me, what is your Doop Valley? What is that dream, that goal, that life, that you have been thinking about instead of actually living? Write it in the comments. Just putting it in words is the first step toward actually going there. I read every single comment. Now, let's finish strong with the most powerful ideas in this entire video. Wait, what I'm about to tell you could change your life forever. Imagine this. You have been working at your job for 3 years. You give everything. You stay late. You go above and beyond. You genuinely believe that this year is finally your time for a promotion. And then one day, your manager calls a meeting. You straighten up. You smile. Your heart is beating a little faster than usual. And then someone else's name is announced. Not yours. The anger comes fast. Your chest tightens. Your jaw clenches. You feel something deeply unfair has just happened. You feel invisible. Overlooked. Disrespected. And for days, maybe weeks, you carry that bitterness inside you. It poisons your mornings. It ruins your sleep. It follows you home and sits at your dinner table. Now here's the question I want you to sit with. Who forced you to feel that way? Not the promotion. Not your manager. Not the person whose name was called. Your thinking forced you to feel that way. Specifically, the story your thinking was telling you about what that promotion meant. Because you were not really upset about a salary increase or a better title. Be honest. Deep down, you wanted that promotion to prove something. To your family. To your friends. To yourself. You wanted it to say, "See? I am enough. I am worthy. I am successful." And when that external validation did not arrive, your false self, the part of you that is made entirely of fear, need, and insecurity, decided to collapse. Here is the deep truth: you do not need to prove yourself. Not to anyone. Not to your family, not to your colleagues, and most importantly, not to yourself. When you truly know who you are, when you have met your real self, the part of you that is fully capable and complete exactly as you are right now, there is nothing left to prove. It is like a millionaire who knows their net worth. They do not need to go around telling people they are rich. They simply know. And from that knowing, they move through the world with ease. This is what it means to gain control, not just over what you want to do, but also over what you do not want to do. Over the reactive, fear-driven, approval-seeking patterns that hijack your mind a dozen times a day without you even noticing. That level of mastery, that is real power. And it begins not with discipline, not with hustle, not with a 5-year plan. It begins with seeing yourself clearly. No armor. No mask. No performance. Just the simple, profound act of truly knowing who you are. When you fix that, everything else falls into place. The abundance, the success, the relationships, the peace, they stop being things you chase and start being things that naturally find you. Here is the last piece of the puzzle. And it is perhaps the most counterintuitive one. Stop trying to control your thoughts. I know, everything you have been told says the opposite. Think positive. Discipline your mind. Force yourself into a routine. And yes, structure has its place. But here's what happens when you fight against your own mind: you lose. Every time. Instead, try something different. Allow your mind to work in its natural way. Give your thoughts and feelings the freedom to change. Watch them flow. Observe them the way you would watch clouds moving across the sky, with curiosity and calm, not fear and desperation. Don't try to force yourself into a rigid pattern. Instead of fighting the flow of events, allow the natural flow to carry you forward. Trust that your work will get done. Trust that things will unfold. And while they do, stay present. Stay aware. When you practice this, genuinely practice it, consistently, something remarkable begins to happen. Your health improves. Your relationships deepen. Your emotional state stabilizes. And above all, you begin to think in an entirely new way. You become a fully aware person. And a fully aware person is a perfectly content, genuinely happy, deeply calm, and sustainably successful person. This is not passivity. This is the highest form of courage. Allowing your mind to work naturally, without forcing it, without fighting it, that is a brave act. It is the mark of someone who has truly done the inner work. Think for just a moment about the difference between thinking and seeing. Between the map and the territory. Between the simulation and the experience. That difference, that single shift in how you relate to your own mind, can make all the difference in the quality of your life. We started this journey today with one simple question: if the human mind is capable of so much more than most people ever experience, why do so many people fail to reach their highest potential? And the answer, the honest, uncomfortable, liberating answer, is ignorance. Not stupidity. Not bad luck. Not fate. Simply, not knowing. People do not take the time to understand what they are truly capable of. Instead of discovering the full power of their own mind, they look only at what they can see on the surface. They understand the first ray of the sun, and mistake it for the full glory of the sunrise. But you, after today, you know better. You know that your mind is a falcon built for flight, not for walking in the mud. You know that thinking is secondary, and awareness is the highest power. You know that you do not need to prove yourself to anyone, because you are already, fully, and completely enough. You know that the life you have been thinking about? It is time to actually go there. If you fully grasp even one of these ideas, just one, it will take you to a peak of awareness from which you will be able to see everything clearly. Your problems will look smaller. Your possibilities will look larger. And you will move through your days with a sense of peace, purpose, and power that most people never find. The only thing standing between you and that life is the decision to start. Make it today. If this video spoke to something real inside you, please share it. Send it to a friend who needs it. Post it on your story. Because somewhere out there, someone is sitting in their version of the airplane, still using the horse, waiting for someone to show them their wings. You could be the person who changes their life today, just by sharing this video. And if you want to keep going, if you want to learn how to actually build the habits of a fully aware mind, watch this next video right here. I promise you, it goes even deeper. Until next time, stay curious. Stay present. And remember, the most powerful machine on earth is the one inside your head. Learn to fly it. See you in the next one.